If you are a Sukuna fan, you won. You are on cloud 9 right now because Jujutsu Kaisen chapter 238 has confirmed that Urame is Gege self-insert, and it's also proven that Heian Era Sukuna violates your favorite JJK character. Yes, even the halved one is getting violated by the god of JJK. But before I get into that, I need to address someone who upon recent events has had their rep and stocks plummet in the span of one chapter. Someone who was truly fighting plumbers, farmers, civilians, and doctors. A man who witnessed Gojo versus Sukuna. A man who witnessed a world-splitting dismantle and said, I got next. Hajime Kashimo, the god of yapping. See, this fandom likes to throw out the term fraud too often. Hell, I'm a victim of this too. There was a time I lost my way and dared to call the King of Curses a fraud, but I have been enlightened. Please forgive me. But this man right here, Hajime Kashimo, was stat padding in the Edo period fighting against Junpei's ancestors. Like, what do you mean Ryu's too far away? If you don't get off your ass and prove yourself, like, what was your plan, man? Was telling everybody they're not built for Sukuna. I got next. I gotta fight him first. And as Goofy entered the fight with no plan, just vibes. Every single Kashimo fan has gone into debt, and I would advise you to invest in Sukuna or Yuji. I know some of you might be thinking Yuta, but right now he's ghosting worse than your girl on Halloween, and sources are saying he fled to Africa. Kashimo, man, it's not looking good. And the next thing he does afterwards is crazy because he realizes my glorious king is him and begins to start doing backflips on Sukuna. But you know what? I can give Yapimo a pass because unlike the still delusional Gojo fans, he knows who the strongest character in the series is. This chapter gave us so much information about Heian Era Sukuna, and it further confirms that Gojo was right in saying that Sukuna probably would have won even without the use of 10 shadows. But stop, I know you're already pausing the video, you're getting near to, you're triggered, and you're getting ready to comment how about I'm lying and this is BS and all that stuff. But listen, just give me a couple minutes. I will change your life. Like after this, you'll trust me. If I can change your mind, I feel like you should subscribe at that point. Truthfully, just listen, just watch. I'm gonna enlighten you. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. All right. Let's continue.
Just we need to cook.
Chapter 238 tells us two important things about Heian Era Sukuna. Firstly, because of his extra hands and mouths, he is able to continuously chant incantations without any drawbacks, and that would increase the potency of Sukuna's attacks, making them more powerful. And secondly, his physical strength is increased in comparison to his previous form because he now has the perfect body. Right now you might be thinking, local, why does this matter? But I'll get to it. The first half of the Gojo versus Sukuna fight involved multiple domain clashes, with Gojo being defensive until Sukuna's reverse curse technique began to lag because of how physically damaged he was, resulting in unlimited void hitting and Sukuna being forced to bring out Mahoraga, while Sukuna in Megumi's body was relative to Gojo in hand-to-hand combat as well. This is the point we have to keep in mind. Now I will say Gojo had a slight advantage in this category, but it wasn't a thing of like, if we're comparing them in hand-to-hand combat, Gojo completely dog walks him. Like, I think that's cap. We have to stop looking at the agenda. They're relative to each other. But now if we take into account a Sukuna that is physically stronger than the one Gojo fought, has 2 extra hands that can be enhanced with domain amplification, it's safe to say that Heian Era Sukuna would dominate Gojo in hand-to-hand combat. But we've seen through the Kashimo fight just how strong having those 2 extra hands is. I don't want to hear people saying, okay, it's gonna make it a negative to have 2 extra hands. No, that's cap. And we also have to keep in mind as well, the conditions for the domain clashes between the two was that in 3 minutes, Gojo had to hurt Sukuna enough to the point where he wouldn't be able to maintain his domain because Sukuna's domain would be able to destroy Unlimited Void's outer shell. So it's pretty much in 3 minutes, Gojo's got to beat Sukuna up physically to the point where I can't keep my domain up, or Sukuna's domain would slash through Unlimited Void's outer shell. But now with the previous information provided, Gojo is not getting a physically superior version of Sukuna to that point at all. And Sukuna would just never become physically weak enough to have a lag in healing, meaning he would never be hit by Gojo's domain. So there would be no need for Mahoraga. So by the 5th domain exchange, as we know how the fight goes, Gojo's brain would have his brain fart and he would not be able to use another domain again. He would not be able to open up a domain again, and Sukuna was still able to. The only reason Sukuna had that brain damage moment was because of Unlimited Void hitting him. So Sukuna would just then open up his domain expansion again and he would confirm the W. And with that, Heian Era Sukuna would beat Gojo without the use of 10 shadows. It's clear in every aspect. Heian Era Sukuna would win. This is not even, I'm not talking about the Sukuna that has the world ending dismantle. I'm just talking about strictly Heian Era Sukuna. He would win just through the multiple domain clash exchanges. Eventually Gojo's brain would run out of steam and then Sukuna would win. Case closed. Gojo fans, I'm sorry, but you know, I gotta tell y'all the harsh truth. And that is why Heian Era Sukuna violates your fate, because if he's mid-diffing Gojo like this, he's beating everyone else. And if you enjoy anime content that keeps it real like this, consider subscribing so when I hit 10K, you can brag about being a day one. I gotta get back in the kitchen to cook. Peace.